Hi Fans, jetzt ist es bald soweit. Es ist jetzt nur noch eine Woche, bis wir unser Spiel haben. Wir freuen uns beide schon riesig drauf. Und wir wollten einfach jetzt die Gelegenheit ein bisschen nutzen, vielleicht über alte Zeiten zu reden, was wir so miteinander erlebt haben, um das mit euch zu teilen. Und ja, wir freuen uns wirklich auf nächste Woche mit euch. Und jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, was wir hier so für alte Stories raushauen.
Hello, Steeler fans. Yeah, just 6 days left till Saturday and our game. Been in Germany for a couple days, just getting over jet lag. Me and my family are very excited to be back in Bietigheim. My kids grew up here, so they're very excited to get back. Yeah, just looking forward to next Saturday and seeing a lot of familiar faces back in Trans.
Ja, ich war jetzt über 20 Jahre hier in dem Verein und gerade dann, wenn ich über Bietigheim nachdenke, ich bin mit 14,5 hierher gekommen, war für mich natürlich das Wichtigste auch erstmal die Jugendmannschaft. Da bin ich hingekommen, mich aufgehoben gefühlt und wir hatten tolle Zeit miteinander und auch deswegen habe ich gerade Spieler wie Sven Breiter, Milan Liebsch, Ralf Herbst habe ich schon in Essingen gespielt, Manuel Neumann, Marci Neumann, dann später auch mit meinem Bruder irgendwie super Zeiten erlebt und auch für mich den ersten wichtigen Titel für mich gewonnen oder haben wir gewonnen und zwar die Junioren-Deutsche Meisterschaft damals. Das war mega, das war 2006. Und das ist schon was man auch nie vergisst und was man irgendwie mitnimmt in so einer Zeit. Ich bin sehr stolz drauf, gerade mit den Jungs auch immer noch in Kontakt zu sein und ich hoffe, dass das ist cool, dass sie einfach hier dabei sein können. Dann natürlich irgendwann durfte ich reinschnuppern in die erste Mannschaft. Da waren natürlich wahnsinnige Spieler dabei, in der Ritchie, in Craig Thiebe oder sowas. Aber dann auch, wo ich dann richtig dabei war, so ab 2004, sind so die prägenden Personen einfach Markus Wieland, Jochen Molling, dann auch Matthias Hart, die damals als alte, erfahrene Spieler mit wirklich, riesen Karrieren dann teilweise schon uns junge Spieler auch mit in die Mannschaft aufgenommen haben. Also nicht nur sportlich, aber auch abseits. Also da ist man richtig cool in das Team damals integriert worden. Ich erinnere mich an irgendwelche brasilianische Nächte in Stuttgart, wo natürlich auch das Team zusammen draußen war, gefeiert hat. Wir hatten auf jeden Fall auch eine gute Zeit off-Eis. Und ja, das sind eigentlich so coole Sachen, die man nicht vergisst auch irgendwie. Dann später natürlich, Dirk Frobel war natürlich auch immer mit einem Spieler, zu dem man als junger Spieler gerade auch noch in der Jugend aufgeschaut hat, der eben als Erster diesen Schritt geschafft hat, in die erste Mannschaft zu gehen. Ein super Typ, mit dem ich sogar dieses Jahr einen kleinen Teil meines Urlaubs noch verbringen konnte auf Elba. Das war sehr, sehr cool. Und auch sowieso ein Flo Jung, der auch über die Jahre dann hier mich begleitet hat und auch nochmal dann zurückgekommen ist, mit dem unsere Familien auch irgendwie eine Freundschaft verbindet. Und das sind einfach auch das Schöne, was beim Eishockey ist, ist zwar viel Wechsel immer irgendwie, aber trotzdem verliert man sich vielleicht mal aus den Augen und die anderen wohnen woanders, aber man, wenn man sich trifft und genau darauf freue ich mich eben gerade jetzt auch am Samstag, dann ist einfach alles meistens so wie früher. Man erzählt die alten Geschichten und schwelgt gemeinsam in Erinnerungen und das wird sehr, sehr cool sein. Ja, noch später dann auch, wo wir dann irgendwie ein bisschen erfolgreicher wurden, also kurz vor 2009, dann kam so diese ganze LA-Connection mit Hammer, Geibi, Seiderhammer nach Bietigheim. Justin Kelly war mit dabei und wir hatten, glaube ich, auch echt eine anstrengende Zeit. Es war nicht immer einfach, das Training war manchmal hart, aber gerade das hat uns, glaube ich, als Mannschaft noch enger zusammengeschweißt irgendwie und hat dann damit geendet, dass wir wirklich 2009 die erste Meisterschaft feiern konnten. Das war absoluter Hammer. Wir konnten hier in Bietigheim eine riesen Feier starten und haben und unvergesslich auf jeden Fall die Zeit mit all den Jungs und ich bin wirklich froh, dass auch ein Großteil, also echt einige von dem Team damals dabei sein können bei meinem Abschiedsspiel. Ja, besonders bei der Meisterschaft war für mich natürlich auch, dass ich, wie gesagt, mit vielen von der Jugendmannschaft irgendwie das auch geschafft haben. Also waren Marci Neumann dabei, ein Victor Beck, ein Berinoe, aber auch mein Bruder. Und ich glaube, das war auch etwas total Besonderes, wenn man in seiner Profikarriere mit seinem eigenen Bruder über doch einige Jahre zusammenspielen kann und dann auch wirklich irgendwas Cooles erreicht hat. Also ich meine, wir sind Meister geworden, wir haben einen Pokalsieg dann irgendwie ein paar Jahre später zusammen erreicht Und das ist wirklich mega und das ist einfach sehr, sehr cool, dass ich das erleben durfte. Dann irgendwann war es auch so weit, dass wir von der alten Halle in die neue Halle umziehen konnten, durften wir auch immer. Ich vermisse natürlich auch immer noch die alte Halle, weil das war einfach eine ganz, ganz spezielle Atmosphäre da drin. Es war noch alles enger, saß direkt hinter, oder die Fans waren direkt hinter einem dran. Man ist rausgelaufen durch die Fans. Das waren einfach, und auch mit jedem, mit dem ich rede, ist es natürlich schon auch cool, die dort gespielt haben und was Besonderes gewesen. Zumindest als Heimteam. Natürlich ist es aber hier die Möglichkeiten, die uns dann durch die neue Halle gegeben wurden, natürlich auch echt mega. Einerseits natürlich nur für die Jugend, dass wir einfach 2 Eisflächen haben, aber auch für uns die Trainingsmöglichkeiten überhaupt. Wir hatten dann das erste Mal einen Kraftraum. Wir hatten haben eine richtig, richtig tolle Kabine. Und natürlich auch, da ist die Atmosphäre cool, nur ist es einfach nicht mehr das Gleiche, wie wenn man eben dort drin aufwächst. Aber trotzdem ist die Halle natürlich absolut High Level, würde ich sagen. Ja, und dann obwohl wir 2012 Pokalsieger wurden, doch ein schwieriges Jahr aber hatten und knapp dem Abstieg so ein bisschen entronnen sind, war dann natürlich 2013 für uns also auch die unglaubliche Saison. Kein Mensch hat damit gerechnet, oder ich definitiv nicht, dass wir überhaupt so erfolgreich sein können, schon während dem Jahr. Und da kamen natürlich wahnsinnig unglaublich coole Spieler, beide Rottmann-Brüder, Marcel natürlich, der auch dabei sein kann beim Spiel. Sommerfeld, Markus Sommerfeld, Robin Just, egal wie sie heißen, also das war ein mega, mega Team und auch wirklich eine sehr, sehr coole Chemie im Team dann auch wieder. Und ich habe das erste Mal dann auch Matt so ein bisschen kennengelernt, zwar als Gegner damals noch, und wir haben, den ein bisschen den Anschluss holen, sage ich mal, im Viertelfinale damals. Er hat ein bisschen früher Sommerpause gehabt, ich glaube, das war auch okay für ihn. Und wir haben es irgendwie geschafft, dann sogar ein 2-0 noch zu drehen in Schwenningen. Einfach absolute Hammer. Geile Meisterschaft, mega Erinnerungen. Ja, und 2014 dann in der Saison hat sich Matt dann doch richtig entschieden, natürlich nach Bietigheim zu kommen, weil er ganz genau weiß, wie toll es hier ist oder es kennengelernt hat. Und dann können wir vielleicht jetzt auch ein bisschen in Englisch weiterreden, einfach unsere gemeinsame Zeit rückblicken lassen. Schauen wir mal, was wir da rausfinden.
Okay, like Reens talked about, when I was in Weißwasser, played in the old rink, and then the next year we obviously were in the new rink in playoffs. Like he said, they very rudely knocked us out in the quarterfinal on their way to the championship. So I was very excited when my agent mentioned that Bietigheim had some interest. So I have to thank Kevin Godet for bringing me into Bietigheim. That's the only reason I got here. So obviously coming here, different expectations than Weißwasser. There was a definite expectation that we were here for one reason, and that was to be successful and try to win championships. And luckily I was able to, with René, win 3 of them, 15, 18, 21, all a little different. Unfortunately, the first 2, 15 and 18, I got injured in the playoffs and had to watch, so that was pretty tough. Basically only had one bad year of injuries, but I always seemed to get hurt at the wrong time. So it was pretty special in 21 that we were able to win. It was kind of unexpected, obviously, the way our goalies got hurt, and we had a lot of injuries, so that made it really special to be able to win, and obviously chance to go to the DL. So that was great. So when I came here in 2013, obviously my daughter Ava was born in November that year, so that was exciting. And then we ended up losing to Bremerhaven in the final in 2013-14. I think that kind of fueled the fire of the Bremerhaven rivalry we had for a few years with them. At that time, Andrew McPherson was the hated guy on Bremerhaven.
Yeah, I mean, it was also like Alexei Dmitriev was here, Henry Martins was there, and I think we had a good team also. We made it to the finals, like you said, but in the end, we were not just good enough or strong enough to beat them this year. But at least in 2015, the next year, we got some even more players. There are some guys coming back, Justin Kelly, We got some awesome players like David Wrigley, I guess. Pinner in front of the net. Nobody could. Or he was. Yeah.
Riggs was there the year before. He came in with me.
Came in with you.
He was.
Right.
Remember, he took that suspension in Rosenberg.
Check. There was a good rivalry with Rosenhan too, I think.
You guys kind of had that. Was it the Pokal the year before, and then the playoffs, the second round after he beat us in Vice Versa?
Yeah, we played there for, I don't know, 12 games against Rosenheim this year, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone was a little bit more.
So obviously that next year, I didn't really know about that rivalry, but we played them in the second round, and they were the second seed, and we were the third, I believe. So we didn't even have home ice, and quickly found out that there was no love lost between those two teams. But that's playoff hockey. That makes it exciting. I remember the Bremerhaven year that we won. It was kind of tough because I think we won the regular season by like 25, 30 points, wasn't it? So it was hard to stay focused down the stretch. I remember Kevin had a hard time. We had nothing to play for from whatever on. Although as soon as playoffs start, it's a level slate. You don't get anything for being 20 points ahead. So I think that's kind of nerve-wracking going in, that you were obviously the best team in the regular season, but the playoffs is a whole nother season, and you start level again. So that was obviously a really good regular season, and then I ended up getting hurt in the first round against Dresden, but the watching in the stands wasn't very nerve-wracking, to be honest. You guys were pretty impressive all the way. Who was it? Dresden, then Landshut, I think. A sweep Landshut, and then 6 games in Bremerhaven.
Yeah, we missed one game. That's the only thing what I miss in my career is to win a championship at home. And I think that was the only chance, and we totally fucked it up at this time.
It was crazy. I remember sitting up in the stands, and I'm pretty sure Justy scored early. The crowd was nuts.
Yeah.
You guys had them hemmed in their zone. Justy scored 5 minutes in. The place was going nuts. I was like, oh, this is going to have about 6-1. And I think it ended up 6-1, but you're on the team with a 6. So, but then you guys regrouped and hopped on the bus and went up there and got it done.
Yeah, that's special too. And like there's Domoshe, for example, this guy, he's standing there for we came back. I mean, that's really important, because you could all said, oh, fuck, we didn't make it. But no, we came back and we had a really good game there, and then Dom in the end with his snipe. And the funny thing is, even I think Kevin wanted to change him out. He said, really? I think Leike should play for that shift, but he didn't hear it, so he stayed on the ice, get the puck, and just shoot it in the net. And the rest is history. And
yeah,
that's crazy.
I also remember that game. I'm pretty sure Riggs had a hat trick. Did he not? He was a beast.
Riggs had so many hat tricks I can't remember, so I'm not sure.
Obviously, Dom stole his thunder when he scored the OT winner, but I remember, because I think we scored late to tie it, did we not? I can't remember. No.
Wow, that was long time.
I was sitting. Steiny was injured as well.
Oh yeah.
So we were both sitting out. It was pretty nerve-wracking to watch, but that was also the year that the Bietigheim legend Arch Skullback was here in Bietigheim. I asked him to come, but he was unfortunately couldn't make it. But he came for Justin Kelly's game, and it was pretty cool to see him again. He was obviously only here for 1 year, but he made quite an impact on and off the ice.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, he's also with Kronawitter or Metufi, the young guys at this time. I think they had a really good time here, and they were really, really cool to hang out with these guys and have fun. And
probably it was tough for them too. You never think about it, but we had a lot of families, older guys.
Yeah.
But I think they brought the youthful excitement to the team, and they were the under 22 or under 23 players.
That's good.
So probably a little weird for them to be on such an old team, but I think it was great to have them. They kept it light and fun in the locker room, and were key players on the ice as well.
Maybe what I want to say also is Matt just talked about how it is to standing or sitting in the stands and watching the own team, and it's really not nice. And I'm so happy that I never had that many injuries, but I did it also once in a while. So, but it's the worst to sit there and just watch the team and you can't do nothing. And yeah, just hope that it happens or that we will win or not. But it's even, it's just worse. I just be on the ice and help the team, try to help the team. 16 and 17, we just didn't make it till the end. We just lose in the finals 2 times. And that's always disappointing as a sportsman because you come so far and that's where you want to be. You want to be in the final, playing in the final. But at the end, I think we had a lot of injuries there too, and we just don't have the energy anymore to really compete against those teams, and they were really strong, obviously, too.
I think a lot of teams would be very happy just to keep making the final, but it was figured out pretty quickly, like I said earlier, that winning was what we're after here, not just final appearances. So, like Reen said, 16 and 17 were obviously tough losses in the final. I think like you said, we ran out of gas and injury. We were taped together, holy cow, especially against Castle. It was crazy.
Nah, that was river. I think that was the first year I think I played a little bit D also, and in the end I think I was there and played with two Ds, and maybe there was another guy who played as from a forward 2 Ds, and we just played the last 15 minutes like that, so there was no chance anymore.
I remember against Castle, because against Kaufbeuren in the second round, right? Is that when Freddie hurt his ankle?
Yes, in Kaufbeuren. Yes, in Kaufbeuren.
Then he tried to come back in the final, and I remember seeing him skating around in warm-up, and he was limping on the ice. It was insane. I was like, wow. So you can't fault the effort for the guys. They were, even when they're injured.
Everybody tried, yeah.
I think Riggs broke, was it?
I think Dom had maybe Dom's ribs.
Yeah, and
maybe. I'm not sure if
I think Riggs came back in the final right at the end, not even the start of the final, but right at the end. I don't know. He was basically playing with one hand, I think.
In the last game, I think Steiny got injured with his ankle too again, and yeah, that was not nice. But like you said, I think in the end we could be also proud to be in the final, standing there, fighting, and we give everything. In the end, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think obviously we were disappointed, and probably the fans were. But like you said, I think they appreciated the effort we gave with some manpower we had, and yeah, I get you. I think Castle, it was a sweep, but 2 of the games were in overtime, and in game 4 we were up 2-0 in the first period. So it was a lot closer than a sweep, if you ask me. Even for how banged up we were, I don't think they had an injury. So yeah. So good point by Dom Media, not Dom O'Jay. You just pointed out, I forgot, in game 1 against Castle, before they had video review, Pinner tipped a puck that appeared to go right in the top of the mesh of the net and quickly back out, and they called it no goal. I can't remember what the score in the game was. I think it would have tied it at 1 maybe, or because I know their goalie was playing really well and we weren't scoring, or maybe it would have made it 2-2, something like that, and that goal didn't count, and then that you never know for sure, but that might have been the turning point in the whole series too.
But I like that you said a good point by Dom Media, because I think Dom O'Shea will comment this video anyway. And so we have to make sure. Hi, Dom. I love you. See you next week.
we could tell a story about Dom.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so one story I'll tell about, I think everybody that played in that, I don't know what year this was exactly, but Dom was hurt with something. And I remember he went to our team doctor at Ortema, and this is where he got his nickname, Dr. Google, because he got diagnosed by the team doctor, and he went on his phone and Googled what he had, and he went back into the doctor, I was told, to inform him that he was misdiagnosed, and he actually knew from Google what he was actually hurt with. So then he got the nickname Dr. Google. I'm sure he'll have a different rendition of that story, but that's how I remember it.
Yeah, I think Dom was a really cool guy. I really loved him in the dressing room. He was just, I mean, you always can laugh with him and you have a good time and there were good stories. And I think the only guy who I also would thought about this, I invited him, but unfortunately he couldn't come, was Mark Heatley. I mean, he was a different guy, but in the dressing room it was always fun when he was around. And yeah, he did really, really funny stuffs, and yeah, I can start here because the video wouldn't go that long, but
I think too, when I think of the 15 and 18 championships, like we had some guys who, I mean, had good regular seasons, but in the playoffs they just took it to another level. I think of rigs like Dom Auger was a playoff monster. Summer, who else do you throw in there? I mean, we had Kells. Half the time, Kells would be out the whole season with some injury, and then he'd come back in playoffs and look like he played the whole season. It was absolutely crazy, and then had big playoffs. So
when the time was right to do it.
It's crazy. Well, we could also talk about, like, I know what if it was fake or not, but Kevin like made it us against the world because it was the last time. This will be the last playoffs we're together.
It was emotional too, for sure. Yes, yeah. It was, but Kevin know how to push the guys always. We always had I think every game was the toughest of the year. So if you're done with the toughest of the year, then there was another tough one, and another toughest, and another toughest. So this was fun, but in the end, he kept us always on the right track, and yeah, made us to compete the hardest we could, and in the end, we made it in 2018 again.
Yeah, 2018, like Rain said, that was obviously Kevin's last year. He brought me in here, so that was kind of a turning of the page a little bit. But yeah, the team really came together for that playoff run. One thing I do remember from that playoffs is unfortunately I got hurt again. Fluke accident, ran over by the ref and hurt my ankle, and I think Rob Brown had like a very severe sinus infection or something. He was like really sick, so he was sitting out, I think, the last 2 games. I can't remember. And I just remember after we won and everyone's coming on the ice, Rob Brown was in t-shirts or shorts, a t-shirt, and had his skates on. It was the funniest thing you'd ever see. He's just cruising around on the ice with, not even dressed up. He's just wearing shorts. He looked like a casual fan with skates on. But I think he was loving it. Obviously, I think coming from the DEL, he kind of, I think, could pick where he wanted to go, and I think he wanted to come somewhere, or I know he did because he mentioned that quite a few times. He wanted to come where he could be successful and try to win before he knew he wasn't going to play so many years after that. So unfortunately, he wasn't on the ice when we won, but he still was there, obviously, on the team when we won. So I was pretty happy for him as well.
Yeah. Even when I look back the whole Kevin Godet time, I mean, we were so successful, and yeah, we always had the right guys in the team, I think. So like you said, they picked Bietigheim for a reason. Yeah, they wanted to have success, but in their mindset was that success, and I think that's why we could go so far and come so far every year, every season. And yeah,
if you start talking about Bo, I can just say, like, when I was in Vice Foster, I didn't know who he was, and he was in Schwenningen. He just looked so intimidating with that beard, and I was like, I'm not going near this guy. And then I guess that was my second year here. He came in here and was a really nice guy. So
he's an awesome guy. I really like Bo. I sit next to him also, and yeah, he was a really good captain. He came in the team. He always get us together. And awesome guy. And yeah, unfortunately, after that season, he quit his career. But yeah, we have to thank him a lot. I would really love to invite him too. But he's still in the playoffs with his junior team. So he can't come, unfortunately. But yeah, great guy.
Yeah, I think too, when he came into the team, I believe they named him captain right when he came in. Was that right?
Yeah. I think there was no doubt from his presence, everything. He was right away the captain.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that's probably a tough situation for him, coming into a successful team, and then they do that, but you wouldn't have known how he handled it. It was like nothing ever changed, so that's definitely a huge compliment to him as a person and a player.
Yeah. And even after that year, then there was a lot of changes. Dom wasn't there anymore, right?
Brownie.
Kelly. That was big change, but yeah, we had awesome guys. Yeah.
Also in 18 in Garmisch, that would have been Pribo, Speedy Pribo, his first year. in Bietigheim, and now he's obviously made a home of it here. I don't know how many years he's been here, 6, 7.
Yeah, and he will just play forever here, I think.
He's a lifer. I didn't play with him that year, and then I think it was the next year I played online mostly with him in summer. I can't remember if it was that year or not. And I really enjoyed playing with Privo. He was very easy to play with, very effective, very simple player, but that's sometimes the easiest players to play with. Obviously used his speed.
And even you and Summer were not maybe the fastest anymore at this time. Summer for sure not. You always fast, Summer, but he's just was hanging out in the slot and just racking some shots on the net.
Yeah. So I guess we haven't talked about Marcus either, but what a guy. Obviously I played with him in Weißwasser my first year in Europe, and he was he'd obviously been around Germany, and our families clicked right off the bat, and he was really good to us in Weißwasser, and then we kept in touch when he came here, and he says he put in a lot of work with Kevin trying to promote me to come here, so I'll take him at his word, and so I'm thankful for that too. But obviously got to play with him. I don't know how many years. Most of it was on a line with him, and I think what everyone remembers about Summer is that speed he has. No, just kidding. that slap shot was unbelievable.
That's the best slap shot I ever seen, I think, with a guy from the team, and always ready in the power play there for his one-timers. And also, like you said, a great guy for the dressing room and a great friend. And yeah,
he was the Alex Ovechkin of the DEL spine.
It's true. And even after that year, then there was a lot of changes too. Like Silo wasn't there anymore. A really good guy. I played with him over years. I played with him, I practiced with him a little bit when he was here 2000, I don't know, maybe 2. I can't remember either. And then 2009 again, the good years. And then again, this whole time when we won 2 championships again.
When I was in Weißwasser, I think he was in Schwenningen. And then when I came here in my first year, I think he was in Hilbron. So I just heard about him, obviously didn't know him, but I think he's one of the most normal goalies that I've played with. Sometimes goalies can be a little interesting, but that's what I really liked about Silo, is he was like talking to a player, wasn't talking to a goalie, and he never got too worked. There's another guy I probably didn't mention the first time, but an absolute playoff monster. When the biggest games were up, he was always there. But yeah, he was always so cool about everything. You'd never know he was nervous if he was. I don't know, maybe he just doesn't get nervous, but you'd never know.
He always seems cool.
Yeah. And that's and then obviously when he, with his restaurant in town, even when he wasn't on our team, we still saw him quite a bit. So that was cool to keep seeing him even when we weren't playing on the same team, seeing him around town. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I have to just say something here for the goalies. We invite 4 goalies, and all of them are normal for sure. But but Matt is right. Goalies can be a little bit different sometimes, but not ours. So this is Charlie, and I hope he will make it to the game. And I think also Silo does, because Silo just told me he can't stand 60 minutes in the net, but we'll see. No, and then there's Martin Morchinets. He came 2009 during my first championship, and he stayed here a while, and we are really good friends with his family, and we visit him a couple of times. He comes here, so I'm really glad that we met us, and he's a really good guy also. Sometimes also a goalie, for sure. Maybe I forgot about also Dani Vogel, brother of Dirk. I played with him in juniors, and was a really good goalie, righty. And I really like this guy, and he's living now in Bietigheim again. And we had a good time because we start both in the same year with the first team, and
Max Promisberger came in the year after I did from Dresden. I think he was, his wife's from Schwenningen, so I think he was trying to get a little closer to family and obviously come to, I think, a winning team. So that would have been 14. I think he came, and he's still playing. He signed up for another year, so going into year 10. Attaboy, Promi.
That's a Promi.
Steelers legenda.
Oh yeah, he's a really good D. Just he's not famous for his offense, I think, but I think as a D he makes everything what you need, especially now for the second league maybe again. And
through the, I'm trying to remember, I think he and Steiny were the shutdown pair, weren't they, defensively?
Yeah.
Bastian Steingross, now referee, but used to be a very solid defenseman. He played a lot of years in Bietigheim too. I'm not sure exactly how many, but so 3 championships, and then now has, and he will be reffing our game, right?
He's now ref.
Okay.
On the other side of the game. And there's another guy who will ref our game, Achim Moosberger. I played it with him. So I won the championship 2013 with him, and he was a U23 player at that time. But he's also from Esslingen. So I know him from earlier years, but he was younger than me. So yeah, but he's a really good guy too, and he's reffing now too. And he changed the side, and just texted me when I heard he's a ref now. He just told me I'm still doing the same what I did as a player. I'm destroying the game. So I'm happy that he's now a ref.
So like René mentioned, 18-19, after we'd won in Garmisch, there was a definite turnover on our team. We had guys like Nick Gotch came in, Yannick Wenzel, I believe, came in that year. And then the next couple of years, we had Timmy Schula and Brett Broikreutz join us from the hated Frankfurt Leuven.
Yes.
But yeah, just commenting first on Gotchi, he came into our team and they made him captain, and we obviously a lot of changing coaches, that kind of thing. There was a lot of turmoil, and a lot of that was put on him, unfortunately. But I thought he was great at handling that situation and making it easier for all of us. I think it was really tough on him.
He could have better times to be a captain on the team, that's for sure. But he did the best. And yeah, I know Gotchi since he's a kid. Also, I even played with him in Esslingen together. And yeah, so for me it was really special to see him again, or playing with him on a team again after that long time. And yeah, he's a beauty.
I have just a quick funny story about him. I remember he was coming here, and obviously, how many years he played in Mannheim? 7, 8, 9, I don't know. And he was obviously wore 77 all the time in Mannheim. And then he, I think he asked for it here, and they said, "Oh, this Dennis Swinen has 77." And he just thought Dennis Swinen was some older guy, and it turns out Dennis Swinen was a really young player. So he kind of laughed that he should have just told Dennis Swinen to change numbers. It took 77, but I think, again, that shows the type of guy Gotchi is, and he just took 86 and moved on. But it's always funny to hear. I heard that story a couple times. It's funny how he explains it, how he took the number, changed his number when he came to Bietigheim. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, national player, for sure you change the number for 24 kid. No, I'm not sure. Maybe Dennis was a little bit older, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, absolute beauty. Gotcha was a beauty.
And in the end, we won again championship with him 2021, and even one of the most important for Bietigheim history in the end, because we could move up. Unfortunately, he was out for the game. He had a concussion.
Who was that? And what was that player's name from Frankfurt? Olsen. If he took out Schiener. He took out Gotchi. I don't know. We were already down. Brett Broikreutz was out. But I know like a guy like Yannick Wenzel ended up playing a key role in that final. When we had some guys out, he stepped right in. Another great guy, he came in after we'd won as a under 23 player, and you could see the talent for sure, and he had a good size frame on him, so he had all the tools. And I mean, you can see now he's playing in the DL in Frankfurt, so obviously he's put it all together, and that's great to see that he's able to make the step from the second league to the DL. Obviously, Brett Broikreutz, Tim Schula, came from Frankfurt. Tim Schule, the hometown hero from Bietigheim. He's not the Burgermeister like René here, but he's darn close, right, Timmy? Darn close. So obviously good to have him and Brett here. I got to know Brett and his family pretty well, both being from Canada. I think our kids are close in age, so we spent a lot of good time with them. And
and even on the ice, they both connected good to each other, I think. So Timmy just putting the puck on nets, Brett's just in front of the net and just tip it, and so they met. It was a big impact on our power play at the time.
Yes, they were really good on the power play, and I always laughed. They almost sounded like an old married couple. Timmy would let one of his twisted wristers maybe get a little high, and then Brett would be chirping him, and then, oh, Brett. Oh, Brett.
I'm not sure who is man and who is wife in that.
I don't know. It was pretty funny. They like to give it to each other, so that was also so funny in the locker room.
Max Renner, Heidi, that we come here together in July, I think, and he was here, and we just get told that we didn't get the license right now for the second league. So, and for sure, he coming from a DL, and this was for him really, really bad. I mean, for all of us, it was, nobody knows what happens, what's going on, and all the families are really worried too, for sure. That was a really, really bad time, but right out of this, then we had a really great season together, and Heini is for sure one of the big impacts here. Also, great guy on the ice, off the ice.
I can remember when we were playing Rosenheim, like in the first couple of years I got here in the playoffs, and there was this, I don't know how old he would have been there, obviously under 23, but maybe even younger than that. And you could see the smarts and the skill then. Then obviously he went up. Was he always in Straubing? I can't remember.
Straubing was a long time, yeah. I'm not sure.
Wherever he was in the DL for, I don't know, 5-6 years, and then got tired of that. And like Green said, was probably wondering about his decision when in July he finds out he might not have a team to play on. That he probably had some options coming from the DL, so that was probably interesting. But like Green said, so smart out there. Not the most fleet of foot, but he made up for that with how he processed the game in his head. His hockey IQ was very good, and he was really good passer. He didn't always like to shoot the puck all that much, but a really good passer. And I forget who said this, but I agree 100%. Somebody said that you could take him and plot him into rural Saskatchewan or rural Alberta, and you'd think he was just from there his whole life. He was pretty easygoing guy. Great in the locker room. Good sense of humor. He was always funny. So that's what I remember most about him.
I mean, that's even the most important, I think, if you have fun in the dressing room. And it's always, I mean, you have fun when you're winning always, so it's not that much stress from outside, but as long as the keep is staying together, have fun, and then everything is good, I guess.
Yeah.
When I look back over the years, that's the most important.
Yeah.
And a lot of friendships and everything, what you get out of this, and that's awesome. So the last year, our last year, Matt.
Yeah. I didn't think it would take till 37 if I was ever going to play in the DL. I wonder if that's some sort of a record as the oldest rookie in the history of the DL at 37. But that was pretty cool. Obviously the championship, and then they put in the relegation back in. So obviously the ability to win your way into the DL, that was pretty cool. And then the whole next year, I think that was one of the reasons. Well, Senior scored 40 goals, and we had good goaltending. That helped a lot too. But I think we were just kind of just playing excited all year, like all these big rinks we were going to, and obviously our fans were super excited. So it was a pretty fun year. We didn't do great standings-wise, but I think the fact that our goal was to stay in the league, and we achieved that.
I mean, we played till our last home game. We played for the playoffs, split playoffs, so that was pretty cool.
Sure.
I mean, we just missed it a little bit. But, I think, but you noticed it. We had this real tough games like always best of 5 games the year before in the playoffs, and we always went to the 5th game all serious, and in the end we just found a way, and we were also 2-0 down in Kassel, and we came back somehow and we did it, and I think this brought us all together, and you felt it also, you said the excitement, you felt it all through the summer also. We've been here a lot, practicing a lot, working hard for our goal to play again for some guys, or maybe the first time for us to play in the DAL, and that was unbelievable for me. I couldn't imagine that, to do that in my last year.
That was one thing I give credit to the organization here. Lots of teams, when they go up, then all of a sudden guys who have played a lot, they say, oh, we want DL players. We don't want you guys to play. And they made a point of basically, like, if you were on the team and they still thought you could help, they weren't judging you on that. They were just, if you helped the team get up there, then they wanted you to be part of that. So I give them credit for that. Obviously, they could have taken a different route on that.
Totally, and you can see it a couple of times. But like you said, the core team stayed together, and I'm really happy that this decision was right in the end. We made it, and
I remember we were joking yesterday, I think it was, about when they announced we were both going to be done, and they made a special of the last home game. And we kind of, I think the league kind of not screwed us, but our schedule was very tough down the stretch because we had no time off. We were making up a lot of games, and the league wanted to be done at a certain date, so they were just basically every second night. I think that was 4 and 5 or something like that, and we obviously, Cologne was still playing to get in the playoffs too, and they let us have it.
Yeah, they had even 2 weeks off, I think, or something like that.
That's right. Something like that.
And we played Tuesday, Wednesday, or something.
In English, but we were on fumes, and but like, I think we even mentioned jokingly, the score didn't matter to me. It was cool to see the rink full, and still excited. Obviously, the team, even though we weren't gonna make the playoffs after that game, we were still gonna stay in the league, and that was our goal from the start. So that was kind of funny how the game worked out, but it was also it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I'm not even remember the standings. I know it was not a good game for us, but what I remember is that I was very emotional for sure in that game, and also after the game with all the fans, even the Cologne fans cheering and applauding. Family, friends were there. We couldn't make a picture then later on the ice, and that was really special. And also in that, it was also like a Corona year, so it wasn't be sure that there will be fans maybe at the end. And that's, I will never forget this time. And then we had one last trip to Berlin, and even our families go together with the train to Berlin, and I think that's also there. The kids still talk about it. Matt's mom always saying something, I don't know, you can say it?
I can't even remember, but some oopie doopie Mrs. Poopy or something.
Yeah, so this is going still now, they talk about it and they love it, so that's also great, and I'm really thankful that my family can be that. Maybe I can have to say that in German. Also ich bin wirklich froh einfach auch, dass meine Familie so viel Anteil daran haben konnte, und auch nochmal diese DL, die waren in ein paar Stadien mit dabei und konnten das einfach nochmal mitnehmen. Und das war auf jeden Fall was sehr Besonderes.
Yeah, obviously, staying in Bietigheim as long as I did as a player, that only is going to happen if your family obviously enjoys it here and wants to be here. And we came over to Germany in the first place to play, not really knowing anything, and then we were in Weißwasser for 2 years, and then when we moved here, I had not in my wildest dreams, our dream to play here for 9 years, so and have the success we had personally and as a team. So it's been great, but kind of like Reens, that was in German, and I don't quite get all my German now, but especially now after I moved back to Canada. But just thanking my family as well, my wife and 2 kids. Obviously, they were born and raised here, so it was their home for them. And just thanks for the fun 9 years.
Awesome. Yes, Matt. Yeah, maybe I have to talk about Matt too, because he's would be for sure one of the players I would invite for my game. He was the first on the list. It would be the first, but I'm really happy that we can have this game together. So the focus is not just on me, because I never liked that much. So we share it.
I can actually comment on that too. So at the end of last year, I actually kind of felt bad because René obviously deserves way more of a whatever send-off or show than I do, and so I always felt like I was kind of stealing some of the spotlight, and I didn't want. I told him that a couple times, and he assured me that no, like he just said, that he doesn't like the spotlight. I'm kind of that way too, to be honest, so it is kind of nice to share it that way. But yeah, obviously the same thing for me. Me and Reens obviously played 9 years together. That's not even half of his time in Bietigheim, but
it was the most successful time. So that's
and our families were close and still are pretty close. So that's pretty cool. They're able to do it together. And I also, then everybody can hear this, I keep telling them, obviously I was 8 times olds away in Canada. So René did a great job of doing most of the organizing. I'm not going to lie. I kept apologizing that I can't really help a whole lot. And then he joked, well, you can help when you finally get here. And I haven't had any jobs yet, so I'm hoping I can get through it.
I'll give you a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be careful about the beer, I heard. And no, just kidding.
Yeah, well, like you joked, we only have one resurface of the ice, so maybe that'll help with that. You can all the time. I remember at Justin's game, I wasn't playing, but I was hurt again at that time. Seems to be a theme. There was in all the breaks, it was getting a little wild and woolly in the locker room. So, but we're here to have fun. So, however guys want to do that, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see all the guys again, like I said before, and just talk about the memories and everything. But also, I look forward to see the fans and just spend time with them. Last time, that will be the last time what we can do. And yeah. And it's a really big honor, honestly, to get the jersey hang up in the ring, I think. And also, I mean, I'm every week I'm here at the rink, and maybe I look up there and yeah, so I see my name is really special. And I totally agree that the team has to say to Matt that he will be there too, because yeah, he had a huge impact on the 9 years when he was here, and he totally deserves it to hang beside me.
Yeah, I obviously when I came here 9 years ago, I wouldn't have thought, like I said, that this would happen. It's probably the biggest compliment, I guess you'd say, you can get from your team, so, or honor, whatever. So it is pretty cool. Well, actually, when you think about it, I won't be here every week, like René said. So take a lot of pictures, I guess, once it's finally up there or whatever after Saturday, and then yeah. But obviously pretty exciting, and just excited to have a fun couple weeks here back where we used to live.
Jetzt würde ich nochmal kurz auf Deutsch zurückwechseln und einfach nochmal ein paar Sätze sagen. Ich hoffe, wir haben jetzt niemanden vergessen. Jeder, der auf der Liste ist, ich freue mich wirklich, dass Sie dabei sein können, wenn es geht. Zum Beispiel auch Markus Koyo, mit dem ich, der ein Nachbar von mir war, mit dem ich viel Zeit darauf verbracht habe. Da ist es noch nicht sicher, ob er kommen kann oder nicht. Aber mein Sohn lernt zum Beispiel gerade Finnisch, weil er mir irgend so ein finnisches Song gezeigt hat. Und den will gerade mein Sohn hoch und runter hören. Ja, es sind einfach so coole Sachen, die man im Eishockey so erlebt hat und irgendwie auch mit Typen dann immer verbindet, egal was es ist. Und ja, über die Jahre habe ich so viele tolle Menschen kennenlernen können. Einfach wahnsinnige, coole Typen. Und ich bin sehr, sehr dankbar dafür. Und ja, ich freue mich eben darauf, die alle zu sehen. Und ja, einfach, das wird, glaube ich, eine sehr, sehr coole Zeit. Und ich bin froh, wenn ihr Fans auch dabei seid. Kommt gerne alle und habt einfach Spaß nochmal. Lasst uns zusammen feiern, auf die gemeinsame Zeit auch zurückblicken. Ich meine, habt auch ihr euren Anteil, einen Riesenanteil, dass es überhaupt möglich ist in Bietigheim, dass ich so lange dort spielen konnte. Das war mir immer sehr, sehr wichtig, dass da die Fans immer hinter uns stehen. Und eben auch zu Zeiten, wo es nicht so gut lief. Gerade da bleibt es mir sogar noch eher im Kopf, sage ich mal, wie ihr hinter uns standet. Wie ihr uns auch durch die DEL-Saison getragen habt, immer weiter angefeuert haben, egal ob wir mal irgendwie fast 10 Tore bekommen haben oder nicht. Ihr wart da und das, wie gesagt, Hut ab. Vielen, vielen Dank dafür. Bis Samstag.